Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Camera Tuesday, we're gonna talk about Fujifilm X-T200. So let's dive right into it. Now first, what we are talking about? We are talking about an entry-level APS-C camera. It was announced in early, basically January 2020, but due to world going boom, it's now reaching market and the price has dropped a lot at this point in time. So this is a 24 megapixel camera which can do 4K video. Be very mindful, the same specs will say in the X-T100, but that can only do 15 frames per second at 4K. That's not video, that's GIF. So fundamentally be mindful of that. And if you are lucky, you will get a kit, the whole system kit with will come with XC 15 to 45 mm f3.5 to 5.6 OIS lens. Now the interesting part of this is that it's a powered zoom lens, so for videographing that's a really good thing, and it can do 4K 30 frames per second, so that's really good. That's why a lot of people are looking into this. And this has fully articulating LCD screen, which is surprisingly wide for its stuff. So instead of like normal 4:3 16:9, so it's really good stuff. And in India it's available at this moment in time when I'm trying to record this video. It's around 50,000 rupees, and in USA you can easily get this puppy new less than $650. So you can understand that's why like so many people are interested into this. Now let's talk about photography. Now if you love Fujifilm color science, you're gonna enjoy this camera. There is no discussion. You're gonna buy this, you're gonna shoot photos with it, and you're gonna enjoy the end discussion. Like if that's all you want to do with this camera, this is surprisingly good for that, and it's gonna keep you happy for a very long time. And be very mindful, if you do not know why people like Fuji color science and you personally do not like that, there is no something wrong with you, simply because color science are inherently personal. Many people like their skin tones to be red, many people like their skin tones to be a bit more orangish. Like we are humans, how our brain interprets color is fundamentally different. You can test ISO, you can test autofocus strength, you can't basically you can even test dynamic range. You can't test color science simply because that's a personal thing. And if you are a professional and all you do with is like a raw file works, again you're gonna add your own signature with that stuff. So be very mindful. But if you know what you want and you are happy with Fuji color science, don't buy it like, oh, everybody else is saying that I like Fuji science. No, if you're happy with it, look some raw files and all that jazz. If you're happy with that, or straight JPEGs, you're gonna love this camera. It has great or basically autofocus system with face detect and eye autofocus, which is really good for this low price. And it has good ISO performance. Do not expect like full frame level ISO performance, really good. And dynamic range is also good. So for photography as a equipment, if you for interchangeable lens camera, for a mirrorless interchangeable lens camera, it's really good for this price. What about video? Now that's the whole point. Like 4K is 30 frames per second, and full frame you can go full frame, I'm saying basically full HD, you can go up to 120 frames per second. And there is one interesting feature in this puppy, that is digital gimbal. Now be mindful what this digital gimbal does, because this does not have image stabilization, basically sensor IBIS. It does not have IBIS. What's gonna do is basically crop your sensor and feed data to that sensor, basically where that readout is happening based on gyroscope. So gyroscope's gonna say is like, I'm moving left, crop the sensor on the right direction. So basically your sensor is like this, but the digital readout will start to shift left. And that's how basically image stabilization is done in almost every mobile phone nowadays, and specifically GoPros and all that, because that's much better, much more quick responding than physically moving anything, and that's cheaper also. So digital gimbal is there, but be very mindful, it can only do full HD. If you want that feature, if you want looking forward to that, be mindful, you will only get full HD. And it also crops a lot. So this is already a cropped sensor camera, and if you are like counting on that feature alone, you may be disappointed, because you have to buy a ludicrously wide angle lens because of that. It also had a headphone socket, because while the earlier one was kind of a bit of weird troll where they had like 2.5 mm jack, I mean, why 2.5 mm jack? But this time they have fixed that. It has 3.5 mm, really good. Now be mindful, the amplifier that is on this, like preamps, they are not that good, so you have to plug them up with something that is very hot signal. So if you are feeding with let's say any microphone, try to set it on hot preset or high volume, and then set the gain on this puppy as low as possible. Then you will have good experience. And it also has a headphones socket, which is really rare for this kind of low prices, but last generation also had that, but utilizing USB-C port. Now USB-C headphone ports, they are a mess. So they are like, instead of asking people to figure out which adapter to the wire, they just included it in box, which is really good. So headphone port and microphone system for such a low price, really good. But one thing, the primary reason I will say flat out stay away from this camera if you want to do video, is that it has recording limit of 15 minutes. Why Why the heck? Now some people say it's because of overheating, and many YouTubers have successfully managed to get this puppy overheating as early as like 10 minutes and 20 minutes. So I could understand that, but like why limit this thing? And you may be like, hey, I'm only gonna use full HD, so I don't need to worry about 4K. Yep, full HD also has 30-minute limit, which for a 2020 camera, that's really not acceptable, simply because that European Union hoo-ha that there used to be there is about like, if it records more than 30 minutes, we're gonna charge it for a video camera, so tax bracket will go up. That has been removed. That's why all new Sony cameras are flat out capable of doing unlimited recording, because there was a law that was preventing these cameras to do basically again, they could have done that, but the price would have gone up, and that's why like that was a little bit of reason why GH5 Panasonic GH5 was so expensive. It was like they directly paid that tax. So be mindful. So for video reason, nowadays this is not acceptable. That 15-minute limit is not acceptable. The fact it can only do 30 minutes even in full HD, that's not good. And if you're expecting 10-bit and extra things, it does not have that. Autofocus, while good, it's nowhere near as good as like A6100 or something like that. So please be mindful of that. If you want to buy this for occasional video, you will not be disappointed. But if you want to do video work or run a YouTube channel, vlogging channels, in those sort of scenario, you will be disappointed. Try to go one stage up, or like I do not know any Fuji cameras that can actually do full unlimited recording, raw, like just unlimited, go YOLO. So if you know any exact model that has unlimited recording, please link down below, but this does not have that. So please be very mindful. If you are looking for video, this camera will not suit you. Photography, this is awesome. For videography, do not buy this. Now I made a series of basically videos about why no to. Basically, I said why people don't buy Panasonic, Sony, Canon, Nikon, basically every major company, and people do not seem to get the perspective of those videos. Those videos were like to protect you against buyer's remorse. No camera company is perfect. Each camera company will like, I'll do this good, I'll do this bad, and it's up to you. It's like, hey, I only deal with photography. You'll be happy with this camera, but you're like, hey, I bought because Fuji Color Science. Everybody says Fuji Color Science is awesome, and I bought this, and then I'm starting to utilize for video, while the video files are good. It's just like I have to reset my scene every 15 minutes and it overheats. So you have to be very mindful of this. It's like what suits you. That's why I made those series of video. So what does Fuji does at this point in time for market of basically new buyers is basically it's a very good camera for enthusiasts and hobbyists. If you fall in those categories, you will love this camera. There is no denying that. However, it does not have system diversity. That's why you do not see Fujifilm becoming the next big thing. Think of it this way: Sony is a new camera company. Heck, it's younger than Fujifilms. How the heck Sony reached to a point where they are like talked in the same sentence as Canon and Nikon? Simply because of system diversity. AKA, think of this way: I'm not talking about hobbyist. I'm not talking about pro. Think of this way: let's say you are a company that has like 5-6 photographer and they are taking care of a wedding, like normal thing, it happens. Now if you go into Sony system, they're like, what do you want? You may be like, hey, I'm low on budget, give me something like, best of both worlds. They're like, hey, buy A7 III. Awesome. Now you're like, hey, we got money, we need a video camera. They're like, buy our A7S III. It's the best video camera you can buy there, which has like almost same basically category of video performance as a Netflix approved camera. The sole reason it's not approved is because it does not have timestamp. So you get the point. Like, it has a dedicated video camera. Now you may be like, hey, I want to do a lot of bride and groom photography. I need a lot of detail. They are like, we got you, fam. By the R series, it's highest megapixel. So if you want to do product photography, high resolution photography, just like, I got you. And what if you're like a journalist, you're like, dude, I need snappy photo. I'm like, bam, I give me highest response rate possible. A9 is for you. Diversity, there is a lot of diversity, and this is possible because their sensors have inherently different architecture. One sensor is optimized for low light, so it has only 12 megapixel. Another budget 24 megapixel. Another bonkers 60 megapixel. Another 24 megapixel with a trial lesson readout speed. So it has inherently different properties, and that's why it gets the system diversity. Same look at the new series from Canon R series. R has like, hey, R6, you don't have too much money, but you want a good camera with a good system, we got your back. And you're like, hey, we got money, we want the best highest megapixel camera, get R5. Hey, you want a backup camera or a B cam, buy RP. That's the whole point. Like, there is diversity. It's like each camera does something unique, and if you buy all of them, you will have a system that can do everything. Now in Fuji department, most camera Fuji is making is like 20 megapixel, 24 megapixel, 26 megapixel. That's limited. So now if you, even though they have good lenses, even though they have almost everything is good, there is nothing that's like, this is one thing I do is the best out there. Like, they do have good video cameras that can do really good video system, but none of them will compare to A7S III. Now like, A7S III is expensive, does not matter, it's the best of the best there is. So That's how like Fuji is kind of failing in the market. That's why you do not see Fujifilm everywhere, even though it's so good. It's like that's the limitation, and Fuji knows this. That's why they're like, if somebody is like, hey dude, I do watch photography, I need highest resolution, Fuji is just simply gonna say buy our GFX series, which is medium format. So that's the reason why you don't see it everywhere. It does not have system diversity to satisfy large group of people. So if you invest in Sony system, Sony got your back. If you invest in Canon system, Canon got your back. It's like, bro, we have everything from lenses to the whole ecosystem where like, dude, I need high megapixel, I got you. I need high speed, I got you. It's like, I need something in budget, I got you. All those things. Fuji does not have that. Fuji just have price increase, and you will be like, why you are limiting it? It's like you should have like 3 or 4 cameras, like one as cheap as you can make it, one kind of balance, and one as high bonkers as you can make it, and then add a little bit here and there. Or again, don't do it. Like Mark II of these versions will like offset properly price wise, and you're like awesome. You have a lot of things. But right now Fuji has like XT series, then they have H series, again they have XT200 series, basically 100, 200 and all that jazz. Then they have 30 series. Like you don't have that kind of sensor technology. You do not have a 100 megapixel sensor, which mind you, at this point in time, your mobile phone can achieve that. And if you have good lighting scenarios, those sensors can give you amazing output. So that's the reason why you don't see Fuji becoming the next thing that every Olympic game is shot on, or like things of that nature. And because of those things, it does not have a huge ecosystem of third-party lenses, third-party batteries, third-party flashes. All those things combined to create a scenario where it's only good for hobbyist and enthusiast, and limited after sales support, which is really bad in India. Basically in India, even in my tiny hometown, I can find a basically location for getting my Canon serviced, or like at least they will take like, okay, we're gonna take care of this. It will take time, but they're gonna take care of it. Fuji, I have to like go to a metropolitan next to me. So that's the reality of it, and that's why people don't see Fuji reaching the market penetration that all these 3 giants have. So hopefully this would have clarified why the heck, even though every Tom, Dick and Harry keeps saying Fuji is the second coming of Christ, why it's not taking over. Does not have system diversity. If they add it, then they will be good, but again that would be like compromising their own pipeline of GFX series cameras. So that's why for hobbyists, for if you know what you want to do, you're happy with this, awesome. But if you are like looking at a corporation point of view, it's like, I'm gonna buy this, I'm gonna grow with it, it will be very limiting for you. So this was my presentation on basically Fujifilm X-T200. I hope you liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I would press your dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment, and please leave a comment because I try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.